Good to see you, Slade. We sure you didn't bring back any previously eradicated diseases with you?
Got a clean bill of health from the docs. Speaking of which, interesting operation you got going here.
And what is that supposed to mean?
Easy there, Boy Scout. I'm just saying this isn't your usual Task Force X.
There's nothing usual about any Black Ops unit, Slade. We've known each other long enough for you to know that this wheedling bullshit won't get you anywhere.
And I've known you long enough to know that you won't tell me shit. Hell, you wouldn't tell POTUS. I bet even your little Boy Scout here doesn't know everything.
Are me and you gonna have a problem, Wilson?
Not at all, Colonel Flagg. Not at all. But I might just stick around to see how this thing plays out.
Why does this remind me of briefing the damn Joint Chiefs?
Nice of you to join us, Wilson. Debrief.
You'll find it all in this detailed report. It's on vellum, in the blood of my enemies.
I did wonder where you got that purple ink. So, after you killed that first Brainiac, what were you doing?
Fighting my dragons.
Huh. I'm sorry, isn't the phrase, fight your demons?
No, pretty sure it's dragons. I've done it. Literally and figuratively.
Okay, and that was gonna help you complete your mission how?
Isn't it obvious? I was trying to lure an additional Brainiac clone to my location. Establish an FOB.
That wasn't your mission, Wilson. Also, didn't you scale the side of a skull ship? Couldn't you just do that again and come home?
I'm beginning to think you don't even have a basic grasp on Kaluan technology, Colonel. I want to update the list of weapons I'm proficient in for my file.
That really isn't the point of these interviews.
Quicklime, caltrops. Oh wait, they might already be on there from that incident with the cartels.
I am not writing this down.
Bardiche, mace, trebuchets, traction and counterweight.
Trebuchet, huh? Let me go right ahead and requisition. Oh, how about that? They've been obsolete for hundreds of years. You know about obsolescence, don't you, Wilson?
Swordbreaker and dueling shields. If there's one thing I'd have loved to bring back, it's dueling shields.
Yeah? Huh. Had you pegged for a blade through the back type?
Think your boy Hero could make a pair of them if I showed him some sketches? We could have it out. I'll even give you the best of 3.
You sketch?
Yeah, add that to the file, too. Amanda, I'm glad it's you. I wasn't looking forward to having this conversation with Ricky Boy.
Well, that sounds ominous.
I've been gone for a while. Have you been keeping messages and correspondence from my family for me?
Slade, you know there aren't any messages.
No, of course there aren't. I hope there might be. This time, you know?
I know. Never let that hope die. We couldn't do what we do without it.
I know Rose is busy. I just thought she might be more understanding now she's in the business herself.
There's in the business, and then there's us, Slade. I'm not sure they'll ever really understand us.
We're real birds of a feather.
Wilson, how long have you known the director?
A long time. Long enough to know that you're never gonna get that connection you're jonesing for.
I have an excellent working relationship with my superior.
Of course you do. You're the perfect soldier. You still believe all the bullshit they fed you in basic training.
And what makes you so different?
Me and Amanda are 2 peas in a pod. We'll do whatever it takes to get things done. We're willing to be
seen and done some heinous shit.
I know. The difference is it hasn't changed you. Even after your whole squad got murked, you still kept your belief in the flag and apple pie and freedom.
And you don't believe?
I believe that beliefs get you killed.
Slade, I want your professional opinion on something.
Always. What do you need?
I've been thinking about a protege. I don't want some by-the-book asshole taking over what I've built. Lawless is a good option. But I've also been considering Ravager.
Rose? My Rose? She's more of a field agent. I can't see her wanting a desk job till she's closer to retirement.
How old do you think I am, Slade?
Honestly, I have no idea. My time on that other Earth has totally skewed the data for me. I saw 20-year-olds who looked 50, and everyone was way shorter. I felt like a giant.
So, you wouldn't be opposed to me reaching out to Rose?
She's a big girl. She can make her own mistakes.
Once again, I'll try not to take that personally.
So, this whole yoga and therapy deal, you really buy all that touchy-feely stuff, or is it just another weapon to add to your file?
Flag, what kind of narcissistic sociopath do you take me for?
The kind who knows he needs to change, but won't. Puts on the image of growth like camo.
I'll tell you what your problem is, Rick. You haven't figured out who you want to be.
We're not here to assess my psychological fitness, Slade. We're here to assess yours.
What do you want me to say about my treatment? You think I'm a monster? Sure, I'm a monster. But I can still get in touch with my feelings.
Honestly, that told me everything I needed to know.
You know, the plant kid says you got some things in your past you need to confront.
Don't do that.
Alright, it's time to stop pussyfooting around. Let's talk about metahumans.
Aren't you a metahuman?
I'm enhanced. Honestly, Amanda, where did you find this guy?
Colonel Flag, that'll be all for now.
Director? Deathstroke?
This invasion worked out pretty well for you. You get the supers in your pocket. Well, maybe not Batman, he's too cagey. And Wonder Woman.
She's not an issue.
They say she was made from clay by the gods. You might want to keep an eye on that. Anyway, you get the League. Makes perfect sense.
So why are we having this conversation?
There's a piece of the puzzle I'm missing, and you know how I love cracking puzzles. Honestly, if you could send me back to that medieval world with a bunch of puzzles, I'd be happy. But it just seems odd to me. You talking successors and retirement when you're about to get everything you want.
How do you know what I want, Slade?
Experience.
Salutations, Suicide Squad! Oh, I do hope you're ready for another brain-twisting dive into the darkest depths of my genius!
Oh, hey, the Riddle guy. I haven't gotten to talk to you yet. Okay, so what's up?
Is this the seedling? No matter. Don't think I'll go easy on you just because your frontal lobe is still sprouting.
That's not how brains work.
Yes. Well, perhaps you'd better let one of your more grown-up colleagues, broadly speaking, take this call.
Excuse me? You called me.
No. Hack put me through to Task Force X. I call them regularly. Is Deadshot there? I do so love to imagine the crinkle in his little brow as he ponders one of my puzzles.
Why don't you take a minute to work out what happened here?
How droll. It seems that Hack intentionally rerouted me.
Hooray! You cracked it.
I expect they were begging for respite from my arduous mental and physical acrobatics.
Actually, I think they just find you really annoying. Which is weird because they're all super annoying in their own ways, don't you think?
Inferior intellects. To them, my quandaries are like fine-grained salt. Scattered before so many quivering snails.
Sure. Huh. I guess I'm supposed to babysit you now. All right. Give me a riddle.
Give you up. Doesn't work like that, shrub. Any more than someone might ask you to grow a plant.
Yeah. They totally do that. A lot. Why won't you give me a riddle? Scared I'll guess it.
Why, hello there. Do I have the pleasure of addressing the seedling?
I feel like you already knew you were talking to me, so...
Well, of course. But you should never skip the niceties, kid.
Well, why though? You called to speak to me.
Yes, and I am quite enjoying our little tay-to-tays. So, I'm extending you basic courtesies.
Oh, because you like me?
Well, let's not get carried away.
I don't get why Harley said talking to you was like being trapped in a tent with a caffeinated mosquito. Or why Deadshot said you were like...
It's because they're Philistines. Look that up. But you are a puzzling one. Greetings, sapling. Up for a little cerebral sparring, or should I just leaf you be?
Okay, can I just say something that's been bothering me this whole time?
Yes?
So even though green is kind of my thing, it looks really cool on you.
I sourced this shade of emerald from the wallpaper of a symphony hall in Vienna.
And all the question marks, like, blah, I barfed a keyboard all over myself, but I am making it work. Super cool.
You know, I had it tailored 27 times to my exact specifications.
Sweet. Can I get your guy's number?
Sadly not. The poor man was committed to Arkham Asylum. No idea why.
So, I gotta know. Do you ever think about why you do the whole riddle thing?
Riddles are a sublime amalgamation of communication and art.
Or are they just a way to keep certain questions from ever being asked?
I ask the questions here.
Exactly! That's what I'm saying. Why is that?
Information is my stock and trade. I'd be a poor businessman if I gave it away for nothing.
I see. And what exactly would a person have to trade for information?
Well, riddle me this. What can be shared but never touched? Can build a mind and also break it.
Information! Oh, this is so dumb. Okay, riddle me this. How come you're the only person who hasn't asked about past me?
Why, I would sooner ask Clock King the secrets of watchmaking. Or Batman to detail his powers of deduction.
I just think it's interesting that mean old Lex, he's dead now, knew to find me in Our Lady of the Bowery Sister Magdalena Orphanage. Like, I wonder how he got that information.
Oh, I'm beginning to see the steps of our little dance now. To be clear, it wasn't me who sold you out to that blustering, bald billionaire.
Because you didn't know, or because you knew it was a mean thing to do?
The only true wisdom is knowing you know nothing.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Dr. Freeze, you said you have some important information for me? I
of yet, hence wishing to discuss it in private. I've cross-referenced the genetic markers of Green Lantern and the Flash with Luthor's studies on the corrupted Batman.
And?
This isn't just a case of the corruption leaving their systems. I believe the League you did battle with were clones of the originals. It would explain their total, if imperfect, allegiance to Brainiac.
Interesting theory. And with a lot of implications. I assume that's your concern?
Unproven technology allowed to run rampant should be any scientific mind's concern, but there are other potential problems.
Noted. I feel there's a report heading my way as well.
One should always provide proof with their theories. For what it's worth, I believe we have recovered the original members of the League.
I can't say this will change anything, but I do take it under advisement. Send me the report when you're done. My eyes only. Is there a reason you're delivering this report in person?
I felt the emotional impact would be necessary.
Go ahead. I have time.
Thank you. When I say I considered every path for Nora, I considered all of them, including genetic cloning. And while it was potentially viable, it held a fatal flaw.
It wouldn't truly be Nora. I don't think that really applies here, Doctor. Forming emotional bonds with metahumans, even parasocial ones, is what got us in this mess.
If I'm incorrect, and the League we saved are clones themselves, there are complications. Aging of both the brain and body. And the question of just how incomplete that new version is. If I'm correct, and we did save the originals, there are still issues. Our attempts to restore their memories may cause disastrous cognitive dissonance in the future.
Look, I understand all that, and I appreciate your persistence with the matter. I really do. But this ethical debate is only ever going to be that. A debate.
Director, this isn't the sort of thing one simply ignores. It will come back to bite you.
Unfortunately, the Joint Chiefs will ask until they get the answers they want. Even if they're not from me.
I suppose there's no limit on the number of parties who would leap at the opportunity to study or puppet the Justice League.
The DEO. Checkmate. Stormwatch. If Luthor didn't try his hand, I'd be surprised.
So you believe it's an inevitability? The League will always be under someone's yoke. It's just a matter of who holds the reins?
Their little club made for great photo ops and liability, but that's about it.
And you at least know the risks you'll be taking on?
We have the tech should anything like this happen again, and the minds to improve it if need be. Look, don't sell the service you're doing this world short, Dr. Frias.
I hope you can at least appreciate me voicing my ethical misgivings here.
I do. And if you don't have the stomach for A.R.G.U.S, long term, I'll help you find more tasteful options.
Options for Nora and I would be useful. Thank you.
Knock, knock. I was in the neighborhood and couldn't help but overhear you moping. You know, we've actually got a lot in common.
Like what? You're a weird meat sack, not a plant.
Vicky did call me a herb once. No, well, shuffle over, kid. Let's have a bleeding heart-to-heart.
Harley told me to never let you talk me into japes, tomfoolery, antics, escapades.
Well, she told me not to eat or drink anything you left out, but did I listen? Absolutely not. I have no off switch when it comes to chemicals.
Okay, I guess. You mean what we have in common is we used to be special frenemies with Harleen and the Batman. Although they definitely liked me best.
Aren't you as sharp as a switchblade? I'm sorry, that was patronizing. Here, have a switchblade.
Cool!
I get it. It's tough being in the shadow of your predeceased predecessor. My guy left some big clown shoes to fill.
Yeah? Well, try being your predecessor. Only not. Ow!
Gotta be careful with that thing, or they'll start calling you Poison Ivy.
Lame. Everyone tells me I should be my own plant person, but when they look at me, they still see her.
Not me. I see a murderous little tyke, full of promise. Also toxins.
So you didn't know me on your Earth?
I was only in my sophomore year of villainy. Oh, I barely hit it off with my Batman. And the only Quinzel I knew was the one with the daytime TV psychology show. Dial H for Harley.
And now you're here, and everyone thinks they know you. But even you don't know you, right?
You get all that from a whiff of my pheromones.
You talk in your sleep, too.
Very creepy. I like it.
Ivy, I had a follow-up question about endothermic... Oh, you're here.
Vicky Vicarino, VV. We're having a pity party, and you're bringing the beef. Take a load off.
Aren't you supposed to be on mission? Do they know you're out of the cell?
I bet you never get confused for Victor Freeze. No one's like, wow, I definitely don't prefer this big lady.
From what I've learned, Victor didn't form strong bonds with his contemporaries. I suppose we are alike in that way.
But aren't you lonely? Joker's lonely.
Sheesh. You give a girl a knife, and she cuts you to the quick.
He gave you a knife? You gave her a... Never mind. I've adjusted to my new environment. For Nora. For me.
Evolutionary adaptation. For the best chance of survival. You probably don't have that, Joker.
Why? Because I'm an unpredictable murderous clown with no apparent fear of death? Well, I think deep down very few Jokers want to die. It's just an occupational hazard. I really feel like we're growing closer together.
I can run a high-voltage electric charge through my suit.
While still respecting each other's personal space.
Villain team-ups are the best. I think. I remember we were all together in a big old building, listening to a guy with a sack on his head.
Ivy, the past is the past. They were different people. Literally, in the cases of Freeze and Joker. Even you share very little cellular makeup with Pamela Isley at this point.
So, what Vicky's saying is, we're not just follow-up acts. Our material's totally fresh. You know, Victoria, it doesn't hurt to have friends. Until you have to do some really terrible things for them.
Steady now, Joker. Though, even I can admit to needing connection from one very specific person. It's natural.
It really is. Plants need it too. Heck, all things are connected to each other in some way. Neat, huh?
Ivy, I want to talk to you about your new, quote, friend, unquote.
He gave me knives.
Knives, plural. That's not why I'm here. I don't trust him. Just be careful, please.
He's really talkative in his sleep about finding himself. And meat sacks can't lie when they're dormant.
I suppose that's a valid hypothesis. But he isn't like other meat sacks.
Look who's talking. Plus, I kind of have this thing where I can get into people's heads and make them say stuff they wouldn't normally share. Like Colonel Flack.
Psychosuggestive pheromones? I read about that in your file. But A.R.G.U.S believes you haven't manifested that power yet.
Well, I have. Our secret?
I'd like to study it.
Deal. Shake?
Ivy, I can see the joy buzzer.
Freeze, I'm telling you, It was a suicide sausage fest in this joint. Pure testosterone, rage, and ball sweat. Blech!
Sounds like working in STEM. When it comes to villainy, at least we are an excellent company.
Hell yeah, 'cause the smart girlies know that's the only way to get shit done. Like our Lawless over here.
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Honey, society tries to humble us at every twist and turn. Don't go doing it to yourself.
Indeed, you have a bright mind, Zoe. Let the world revere and fear it.
Yeah, alright, I am pretty good. That means a lot coming from you two. I'm actually very Team Harley.
Aw, I'm flattered. Hope you learned something from watching all my screw-ups. I've made enough of them for the both of us.
As have I.
Hey, why don't we give you a crash course on the art of lady villainy? Alright, let's get this first one out of the way. Don't let anyone make you their sidekick. Or their side chick.
Do villains even get sidekicks?
I believe the gender-neutral term you're looking for is hench.
Right, I remember Penguin had a couple he dressed up in leotards and fishnets. And don't even get me started on that header.
Don't worry, no one's making me their side anything. I know all the red flags.
It ain't always that easy, hun. Codependency's a hell of a drug.
That's why Nora and I have always been equal partners.
You become obsessed with one person.
She's my guiding light, my reason for being.
Soon, they're your whole personality.
Everything I do for Nora.
And it feels like you can't do anything without him.
I couldn't live without her.
Dr. Frias,
Now that leotard stuff segues into this next little nugget of wisdom. Never let someone else pick out your duds. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in a tutu and bondage gear, and not in a cute way. At least it wasn't a frickin' leotard.
Yikes. I'll stick to track pants and high tops. Thank you very much.
Out of necessity, I designed my own gear, both for survival and to accommodate my quads.
And that's why you're totally killing it.
But even so, our abilities are often underestimated, in spite of our knowledge and training. When this happens, I find it most effective to crush the offenders between my thighs until they tap out or pass out. Preferably both.
That's hot. What I think she's trying to say is when people underestimate ya, hit them while they least expect it. Pow!
That's what I said. Few expect to lose consciousness with hamstring activation.
Sure, okay. But doesn't it get to you just a little bit? Especially when it happens all the damn time.
Look at Catwoman. You think she rolled over on her belly every time some weasel called her a cat bitch? Hell no! She high-kicked the shit out of him. And she got called that a lot.
It just really gets my blood boiling, but not in the fired up way.
In time, you may learn to let it run ice cold.
But see, you don't gotta figure it all out on your own. You got us looking out for you. And your dad.
Ugh, don't get me started on my dad.
Ooh, daddy issues alert.
Whoa, wait. It is not like that.
Don't matter. People hear you complain about your pops once, and you're the daddy issue girl.
Did I hear somebody mention issues of a fatherly variety?
We are having a girl talk, Nanawe.
Does it involve talking about the atrocities committed by our fathers?
No, it involves introspection on the societal pressures and expectations placed on those who present feminine.
Aw, don't be like that, Breeze. Shark's still young and impressionable. Oh, he's ripe for the molding.
Is it true that you're actually younger than me?
It is. My people grow at a much more accelerated rate than humans.
I bet no one ever underestimates your abilities.
I am actually considered the runt of my litter. I was frequently mocked and belittled by my siblings for being weak. But I would gladly take the ire of humans over that of my own kind.
I guess we all got it bad under patriarchy. Even sharks.
And I also have daddy issues.
I am not living that down, am I?
I will take it to my grave.
My lips are sealed, hun. Just try easing up on your old man a bit.
I suppose someone should keep you apprised of the situation outside of Metropolis.
I really don't care. Wait. That diner round by Ace Chemicals? The one with the inspection violations and the perfect breakfast sandwich?
Oh, I pulled some strings, and those fines all got mysteriously resolved in your absence.
All right, how about the rogue season? How's that going?
Well, they need more strategic help than anyone has money for. But I leave plays on the right cocktail napkins. Might even make the playoffs.
Yeah, sports, food, whatever. Who's running the joint now?
Oh, is it the young wards of Bruce Wayne following in his footsteps? Or maybe Azrael, with his very rigid sense of justice?
Condiment King and Killer Moth got together, had the streets absolutely metaphorically running with blood. They had a little help from Scarface's men. That puppet's got a deep hold on the city now.
Hang on a tick. You can't have a puppet running things. So it's a bleeding hunk of wood first off.
Of course not, you asinine abscess of an Australian. Scarface at the top of the food chain?
Oh, that's mean.
Though those bad kids are a thorn in the villainous side, one goes out in the day and has light powers. Imagine.
With sufficient repetition, overcoming each Earth's most prominent champions has become routine. Their morality, their values, so predictable, so exploitable. Curiously, it's the most expendable and loathsome inhabitants of each world that have proven to be the most resilient and obstructive. They are the antitheses of the so-called superheroes. Inconstant, illogical, fragile, yet still they thrive. My simulations have been unable to accurately account for the degree of error they introduce. If I could harness this unquantifiable variable, I could ultimately develop an absolute defense against it. I will study these contemptible earthlings, draw out their anomalous natures. Chaos claimed my former world. It will not claim New Kolu.
Welcome back. I see you've met the new recruits.
Excuse me, new recruits? Man, we've been here. Where's old man Wilson's Task Force D? Probably dead.
I'm a task force of one, Lawton. The D stands for Deathstroke.
So how come he gets to go world hopping by himself, but if we go one block off mission, it's boom?
Amanda would never let me go far without a leash.
A long leash. Slade earned my trust, and he knew what he was signing up for.
Getting the feeling everyone knew what they were signing up for except us. And boy, does that sting.
Deathstroke, what took you so long?
You didn't give me a time frame, Colonel, so I kept myself busy.
In an apocalyptic, alien-invaded, medieval wonderland, huh?
Precisely. I lived by the sword. It's a simpler way of life over there. You have a problem, kill it. Rampaging dragon, corrupt king, Brainiac's invasion force. Did you terminate them? The shark gets it. I had it all in hand till your task force showed up.
Man, we saved your ass.
Now, boys, there sure is a lot of D energy in the room. Let's take it down a notch, huh?
Okay. I can whip this gaggle of misfits, malcontents, and morons into something approaching combat readiness. Can't promise y'all will make it back, but the target will go down. Hard.
Task Force X still takes orders from me, Slade. You included. You can bunk down in the holding cell while we prep.
We all know I won't stay benched for long.